Hey YouTube, this is Boneyard Stuff again. Today we are going to do a vinyl sticker application. Excuse me. We're going to start from the weeding process to putting the transfer tape to actually applying the sticker onto 18 by 24 Coroplast. This is standard media for signs around, real estate signs and that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start the weeding process, and I like to use tweezers. A lot of guys like to use a razor knife, but I just prefer tweezers. That's what I started using, and I don't know, I just find it easier for me. And depending on how your cutter is cutting, which mine seems to be cutting a little bit off groove right now, a little choppy, kind of like perforated. Depends on how quickly you can remove the vinyl. And it looks like my cutter's not cut too bad, just had a couple of bad spots. Oops. One thing you want to really be careful of is you don't want to let your vinyl sag or drop down onto your sticker, because it is very sticky and it really likes to stick to itself. So you got to be real careful about that. And when you've got thin lines, I always like to, as I start peeling up, put my finger down in case for some reason I drop it or something happens. It does kind of save me a lot. That way I don't, make too many mistakes. Vinyl's not cheap. See, and if that happens, you can just go ahead and push it back down. It's right angle here. Sorry, my big head's getting in the way. It's hard to see here. This is really bad lighting in here. I wish I had better lighting, but Yeah, and if you just take your time, practice doing this, it gets easier as you go. The more you do it, the easier it'll become. Like I said, I prefer to use tweezers, but a lot of people, they like to use the razor. Now, once we're at this point, I like to trim it down. That way, it's just easier for me. Once again, this is just how I do things. There's a lot of good guys out there that do a good job. They do it a little different, but this is my technique here. I really don't need to do this. I just choose to just clean it up a little bit. I like to keep my work area fairly clean. I'm going to go ahead and use this roll here. This is called transfer tape. It's kind of like Scotch tape, but it's not quite as sticky. This is a medium tack transfer tape. And because of the size of this decal, I don't really need to use the roll. I've got a roll over here that is a 24 inch and a 12 inch. And this is a Weber transfer tape dispenser. Great item. I love it. I use it every day. Just today with this little sticker, I really don't need it. I'm going to go ahead and lay this down on here. Okay, once I get this on here, I'm going to use my squeegee. These are fairly cheap. Personally, I tried some of the expensive ones and I didn't like them. I like the cheap ones. The cheap ones, they work good for me. Thank goodness, because the expensive ones are expensive, And now, if you run your razor, your knife against here, you can keep it pretty much right on the edge, and usually. and it usually will ride right on the lip there as long as you pay attention, which I'm obviously not. Anyway, here we go. Now the next step is figuring out how we're going to put it on our media. This one I'm doing for my son, who's going to do some knife reviews and some Balisong stuff. So this is for a backdrop for his YouTube videos. So I think we're going to go ahead and just use this way, do it diagonal. So we're going to do an end hinge, which means we are going to, we are going to run some tape. I usually buy kind of cheap tape for this because you do go through it rather quickly. You tape this down like so. This looks okay. Like I said, this is just for my son's YouTube videos, so it doesn't really have to be. It's not a customer that's going to complain about it being straight or whatever. Normally I would really measure everything out and all that, but he's behind the camera, so okay. This will just hold this down here so it doesn't try to come up on me. Now what you want to do is, now that you've got a hinge, you can actually fold this over, peel back your backing paper, and I prefer to go halfway. Now I pull it taut, try not to let it sag, and go ahead and start from the center. And work it down onto the board. Okay. Take off the rest of the backing paper. Because we're going at an angle, it's kind of a funny angle, but like I said, we want to start in the center. We want to work our way to the end. Now that we've got it this far, we're just going to go ahead and apply some decent pressure on it. Make sure that it's sucked down into all those grooves. We can clear off this tape. Now this will help us peel back this tape. Hold on. And when you go ahead and you peel this back, you want to go at an angle. If it starts to peel up on you, you can always push it back down. This is sticking rather nicely. A clean surface is always your best surface. You really want to clean it before. This was a brand new clean board. So this is the finished product. I think it came out pretty good. Looks nice. I think you'll be happy with it. Once again, Boneyard Stuff, single color vinyl application. Thanks.